Hello, and welcome to The Doc Exchange, a Real Stories podcast, in partnership with the Grierson Trust. Every week, I'll ask a new filmmaker or filmmaking team about 3 documentaries, connected by a single theme, that have made a meaningful impression on their work and life.
Today, I've been invited to witness something very special.
She's okay. Oh, amazing. Yes, well done. Oh my goodness me. This little baby is the newest person to be born in Zaatari, which is a camp in Jordan for Syrian refugees fleeing the war. And in just 4 years, it's ballooned to a population of 80,000 people, plus this one. Gosh, it just goes to show that even in the most difficult circumstances, I'm shaking. People don't just get on with life. Life can thrive. Bushra, you're incredible. Congratulations.
And as a new generation is born here, Zaatari itself is developing at a remarkable speed. 4 years ago, all this was dusty desert. Today, it's a city the size of Bath, with 24,000 homes and 3,000 businesses across 5.2 square kilometres. But with no signs the crisis in Syria is coming to an end, Zaatari must continue to evolve for the sake of its residents. This time, we'll be looking towards the future and life beyond camp. Hostile environment expert Ben Timberlake will be finding out how Zaatari's young people are being given support as they face an uncertain future.
الهدف من عملية التدريب إني أطلعه من أجواء اللجوء أحسن يفكر بإشي يجلب له السعادة. أنت كويس؟
A&E Dr. Javid Abdelmoneim will be with the families desperate to leave to start a new life abroad. And I'll be meeting the newest residents who'll grow up in a refugee camp far from home. The Syrian war has led to the biggest humanitarian crisis of our time. Together, we're going to discover how these refugees are transforming this place to become a city that's ready for the future.
Welcome to Zaatari.
When people first arrived in this refugee camp, they thought they'd be back home in Syria within months.
This was supposed to be a temporary shelter, but it's fast becoming a permanent home for the refugees as war in Syria rages on.
Zaatari camp is in the north of Jordan, just a few miles from the Syrian border. Opened in July 2012 on land donated by the Jordanian military, the camp initially took 9 days to build and is now run and paid for by the UN's Refugee Agency and the Jordanian government, along with over 30 different charities. What started as a handful of tents in the desert is now a metropolis, complete with 9 schools, 11 hospitals and clinics, 2 supermarkets, as well as playgrounds and sports centres, all at a cost of around £10 million a month. And with over half of Zaatari's population under the age of 18, this place has to develop so it can cope with the future demands of this displaced population whose own country remains in crisis. Just a fraction of those affected by this brutal war have ended up in Zaatari. And amongst those making a future for themselves here are people from all walks of life. Ben is meeting up with one of Zaatari's most famous residents, 33-year-old Mohammed Al-Krad.
You don't realise what a celebrity this guy is till you walk down Main Street with him and everyone's coming up to shake his hand or beat the horn and say hi. Back home in Syria, Mohammed was a well-known wrestler.
أول مشاركة إلي من أول مشاركة بشاركها ببطولات سوريا طلعت الأول على سوريا والحمد لله شاركت بالبطولة العربية اللي صارت بسوريا عام 2002 للناشئين وحصلت على الميدالية الذهبية وتخيل بطل سوريا لمدة 10 سنوات. أنا اللي لابس أحمر، يعني أجمل لحظات المصارعة هاي هي بتكون لما إنه يرفع الحكم إيدك أنت اللي أخذت البطولة أو ربحان البطولة. دمعة النصر غالية كثير يعني، إلها طعم جميل.
So back home you've got a huge collection of trophies and medals.
هاي هي نهايتها بالصورة هاي من الحم القذائف والنار اللي كانت تشتعل من خلال لما تيجي القذيفة في البيت فبتنصهر، يعني بتاخذ شكل منصهر الميدالية، يعني قدرت أحصل على بقايا من الميداليات وليس الميداليات.
I'm sorry. Mohammed may have left his medals behind in Syria, but he's putting his skills and experience to good use
برافو
as head coach of a wrestling school for boys.
خذ مسافة وأنت عم تتمرن.
A popular sport back in Syria, here in Zaatari, it serves a more important purpose for the young people,
خذ مسافة بينك وبين زميلك.
potentially facing a long future here. Coach Mohammed, I was expecting you to kind of be like a wrestling coach, but this is like being a drill instructor.
وهو الهدف من عملية التدريب مش إني أنا بس أعلمه مصارعة، الهدف من عملية التدريب إني أطلعه من أجواء اللجوء، أصير يفكر بمستقبل أحسن، يفكر بإشي يفرحه، يفكر إشي يجلب له السعادة.
You're not just making good wrestlers, but you're making good young men.
كل اللي كانوا بالمخيم كانوا متعرضين لضغوط نفسية، اللي بيجيك بتلاقيه عنيف كثير وعم بيحاول يخرب أو بيحاول ينزع، يعني في منه بتلاقيه مثلا من الحالة الحرب اللي شافها بسوريا ومن حالات العنف، فبتلاقي عنده عم بيحاول يطلع طاقاته السلبية من خلال العنف اللي هذا. قرد مصارعة. محمود أسرع. برافو. شباب اللي عم يدوخ.
Over the 2.5 years this project has been running, it's grown from just 13 students to hundreds.
لا تخليها ترجع يلدمك مظبوط.
These kids are brilliant at it.
Yeah.
So agile. See, this is amazing. This is the first time I've seen a large group of children just being happy. It's not like the sports or wrestling makes your life a whole lot better, but it does have the ability to reduce your life to a level where it starts to make sense. It's a very powerful tool for these kids. In 2 weeks' time, Coach Mohammed's students will take part in a tournament. It's the culmination of months of hard training, and competition for the top prize will be fierce. "13-year-old Mohammed Lokash is reigning champion and desperate to hold on to his title.
أول ميداليتين ربحتهم.
He's been in Zaatari for 2 years and left Syria just before his house was hit in an airstrike.
كان أول بطولة كانت سهلة. بثاني بطولة صاروا يشدوا حيلهم. كانوا راح ياخذوه بس أنا أخذته منهم. كانت فنية أخذته وكان أفضل لاعب. كنت فخورة كثير.
خسرت يا عماد.
But it looks like Mohammed will have to put in a lot more practice if he's going to put another trophy on his shelf. Mohammed's biggest rival in the competition is Bassam,
فراشة.
who also happens to be his best friend.
لقيت المصارعة غلبت عليها شوي.
The 13-year-old came to Zaatari with his family back in the summer of 2012, not long after it opened.
وهاي مش كثير. يعني ما عليهاش غرابة. ربحت دغري.
Today is just a practice session. But when the boys go head-to-head for real in a few weeks' time, all thoughts of friendship will be put to the side.
Now that the camp has been open for 4 years, the 11 hospitals and clinics need to provide day-to-day medical care for the 80,000 residents. Dr. Javid is coming to one of them, in the northwest of the camp, to find out what they're dealing with.
بس مويه شفتي مويه مش حتكون مويه بس ايدك بدي اغسلها بالميه بس مويه بس لكن المويه باردة مويه باردة. This kid's just had a massive chunder. Where's the second bucket, ما في? She fell over in the street and cut her wrist on a piece of metal, which is intrinsically a dirty wound, but it'll need stitching because of where it is.
جو غبرة هي جروح مغطية مشان ما يلتهب يتجفن.
She's been good, isn't she, though? In a child who's going to picket it, play, get around, be dirty, whatever, because of where it is, the best healing will be stitches for this.
Across all the healthcare services in camp, there are 14,000 medical consultations a week.
So a mixture of things then, Mohammed, injuries, but also some primary care that you're doing here.
كل الحالات اللي تيجي عليه يعني من حروق من كسور من جروح قولونجات كلوية من أمراض ثانية.
37-year-old Mohammed worked as a nurse back in Syria and fled to Zaatari 3 years ago.
So what time's your last on call?
يعني حتى اللي ما بيقدر يجي عندي بس لما اروح على البيت بيجي لعندي على البيت. ممكن الساعة 3 بالليل استقبل، ممكن الساعة 2 ما في وقد ما بنقدر نساعد الناس بنساعدهم، يعني ما بقدر نرد حدا.
Well, you're tireless, I'm in awe.
This hospital is unique in camp because unlike the others that are run by Jordanian and international charities, it was set up and is run exclusively by the Syrians themselves.
Dr. Hussein. Hello.
I'm meeting founder and medical director Dr. Hussein, who worked as a doctor back in his hometown of Jassim in Syria.
Surgery, internal medicine, gastric, cardiology. It's busy, huh?
طبعاً زحمة على طول يومياً زحمة.
How many patients do you see each day?
تقريباً نحن بنستقبل بين 500 و 600 مريض يومياً.
Wow, that's a huge number.
طبعاً.
Gosh.
عمل ضخم عندنا وزحمة على طول وفي جهد كبير عم نقدمه.
I struggle to imagine what it would have been like here in Zaatari in the early days when you first arrived.
كونه ما كنا نحسن نفصل بين الحياة الخاصة والحياة المهنية. فكان دوامي 24 ساعة. بداية بسيطة كانت. المرضى أو اللاجئين هون بحاجتنا. ضلينا سنة ونص بدون أي دعم. كنا نصرف من جيوبنا.
Presumably you could be better off doing what you do in a private system somewhere?
جاني عرض أكبر من هون بكثير. كل طاقم إجاه عروض لكن ما حدا بيقبل. في التزام. احنا هون الأطباء الموجودين كلها في عندها التزام تجاه أبناء بلدها تجاه شعبها. أهل بلدنا مين بده يساعدهم؟ بس رغم أي مبلغ أي مغريات لا يمكن نترك المركز.
Well, Dr. Hussein, you're a hero, to be honest. As far as I'm concerned, when I look at you doing this work here, it's fantastic. They could easily go elsewhere and earn a very good living, and yet they've chosen to stay here. You know, I've worked a lot in the humanitarian field, and it's easy to volunteer and it's easy to go abroad and work in this context. But you know, you're coming from a comfortable background, and the difference with the staff here is that they were refugees themselves, and yet they've chosen to stay. And that's something I've not come across before, and it really makes me pause for a minute and take stock. I think they're doing something incredible.
Before the war, Syria was a middle-income economy. As Zaatari looks to the future, the challenge for the refugees and the authorities is to try to replicate the same standard of living that people enjoyed back home.
Because if you live somewhere long enough, you're going to want all the things you're used to. Television, washing machine, fridge freezer, mobile phones, and they all require the same thing, electricity.
The camp is connected up to the Jordanian national grid and paid for by the UNHCR at a cost of £4.8 million a year.
Initially, the electricity was pumped in just to light up the main roads, but the desert at night is pitch black. So then they decided to light all the streets. And once that happened, people thought, we'd quite like it in our own homes. So anyone with a bit of initiative took it upon themselves to tap into the source. So the wiring is a little bit haphazard. Good luck to anyone trying to figure out that mess. Where do you even begin?
But there's a team of Jordanian officials whose job involves spotting potential health and safety dangers in camp.
It's a good street, yeah.
And Ben has joined their patrol.
Some of the electricity in the camp seems very, very well organised, and in other places, not so well organised.
كان نزول عشوائي، لاجئين نزلوا فيها عشوائي، ما كان في لا شوارع ولا كان في تنظيم نهائيا. قلت التمديدات العشوائية ممدودة مع الشارع، أيضاً عرضة للأطفال أنهم يلعبوا فيها.
It's an electricity cable with not that much insulation on it. The water supply crosses it, and this area is just right by the water tank here, and so it kind of floods out. There's sharp stones, and there's children playing around here. It's kind of a recipe for disaster. This is the caravan owner right here, so...
خطر على الأولاد الصغار وقريب من المي كمان، يعني عرضة إنه يأتي واحد بالخزان منك إنك ترفعه.
أو نرفعه.
دائما ترفعه. الحل الآن.
مباشر دوري.
اسحبه مباشرة.
Did you put this together yourself?
نعم. خبرة فنية ما فيش، بس بشكل عام الكل يعني بيعرف يركب هيك أمور لأنه سهلة ما بدها شيء. ما بدهاش صعوبة لأنه الحامي والبارد مبينات. وأكثر الناس يعني ناخذها بالمدارس، يعني خطوط الكهرباء والشغلات هاي كلها بندرسها دراسة، يعني عادي أمر طبيعي.
I took it at school too, but I still sit there with a plug trying to work out and think and remember exactly which is which. With 300 kilometres of illegal electric wires throughout the camp, trying to officially and safely connect all of these caravans to electricity would take months and cost millions.
من فوق الكرفان على الكرفان اللي فوق هيك بضل أعلى. ما حدا فيش هناك أكبر بيش.
So instead, the team are happy with a quick fix. Nice job, man. This solution might not meet health and safety requirements in the UK, but it has solved the problem.
But safety isn't the only concern for the camp authorities running Zaatari. With everyone drawing electricity from the grid, it became too expensive to run it 24/7. So in order to make Zaatari financially sustainable into the future, the hours of usage have been limited from 4 p.m. to 3 a.m.
But there are plans being drawn up for a giant solar farm to help power the thousands of homes and businesses, which makes perfect sense because they've got the space and the sun.
Funded by the UNHCR, the new solar farm will be up and running by 2017 and is expected to pay for itself within 2 or 3 years. As Zaatari matures as a city, there's a whole generation of teenagers coming of age here. But the vast majority of 16 to 24-year-olds aren't in school, employment or training and face an uncertain future.
Assalamu alaikum, Haldia.
And in a conservative society like this one, it's even harder for young women in camp to fulfill their potential. But one person who has been able to find her voice here in Zaatari is 18-year-old Haldia.
The boom's in the way.
Haldia escaped to Jordan 3 years ago with her family and most of her village after the area suffered heavy bombardment.
كويس انهم حكوا عن الشتاء، عن انه في كثير لانه حالات اختناق بتصير بسبب الدفاية، فكويس انهم وعوا العالم هذا الشيء، نقطة مهمة.
Since arriving here in Zaatari, she's been volunteering for the camp's own magazine, The Road.
What do your parents and what do your neighbours think about what you're doing?
لما صرت أشتغل وأعمل وأنجز أمي انبسطت. واجه مشكلة إنه الجيران اللي عندنا بالحي إنه مو مبسوطين من شغلي، بيحسوا إنه أني بعصي أوامر أهلي أو إنه بغير عاداتنا وتقاليدنا، بس أنا بحاول أقنعهم بأسلوبي إنه دور أهالينا والمجتمع اللي كان على دور أهالينا والتطور غير عن تطور هسه العالم تقدم، صار في تطورات، صار في يعني عالمنا غير عالم أهالينا، فإحنا بدنا نقنعهم هذا الشيء. يغسل غسلها يغسلها تعال غسلها هو تحب النامونة.
Despite her progressive attitudes, Haldia still fulfills her traditional responsibilities.
This is Shahad. Hey, Anita Farouk.
Pleased to meet you, Farouk. How are you? And who's this one?
أحمد كثير مشاكس بس أنا بحبه عشان مشاكس.
As the eldest daughter, she dropped out of school at 16 to look after her 7 younger siblings.
Come on, in we go.
So that her mother can earn some money on a cash for work scheme in camp.
Oh my goodness, look at that. How can I refuse? Thank you. Is it hard work? Because you're pursuing your own goals, you want to become a journalist, but at the same time you've got the responsibility of all these brothers and sisters.
بنسى التعب الجسدي لما أكون أشوف إخواتي مبسوطين وعائلتي مبسوطة. بصراحة لأنه إخواتي ما بيعيشوا طفولة كثير تمام، بس المهم إنه إخواتي يطلعوا تمام مثل ما بدي أو مثل ما بدهم هم.
Most 18-year-olds in Britain don't have to think about anyone but themselves, and here you are, and you have to think about everybody before yourself. And what are your hopes?
وأحلامي اللي هي إني أكون صانعة أفلام كثير كبيرة وإني أسافر أركب بالطيارة.
How long do you think it will take before attitudes really change and young girls are able to pursue their dreams?
راح يستغرق وقت طويل شوي. نحن حوارنا مو متحضرين زيادة بصراحة. وجد نقنع البنت إذا هي موافقة إنه تتحضر. مو صعب إنه نحن نوعي الأهالي لأنه كل إنسان يعني بيقدر يكون عنده قابل للتغيير إذا نحن أقنعنا وأسلوبنا كان كويس.
It's amazing. What you're doing is incredible.
Soon Haldia may have an opportunity to speak out on the issues that matter to her.
There's the girl. You can see how bright her eyes are from here.
A new magazine, especially targeted at the women in camp, is being launched.
أنا خالدية. شو أخبارك؟
And Haldia's on a mission to shoot the perfect photograph.
Hair and makeup sorted.
In the hope it will be selected for the all-important front cover.
لا هي.
Yeah, really beautiful. Jamila.
جميلة. شوفي حلوة.
As this metropolis beds into the desert, it's crucial that it has an infrastructure that's fit for the long term.
It's all happening. Oh, it's on the move.
I'm meeting one of the refugees who earns a small wage building something that we take for granted, but is one of the most basic requirements in any developed city: an underground sewage system.
Pleased to meet you. You Fadi?
Welcome.
Anita. Are those for me? Thank you very much. Fadi, what's happening here?
احنا هسه عم ننزل خزان 8 متر مكعب مشان نخدم 9 بيوت 9 عائلات على شبكة الصرف الصحي لأنهم هسه حاليا موجودين على حفر.
So 9 households are going to be serviced by that septic tank?
Yes.
What were people doing before this system was installed?
كانت الناس تعتمد حالها إنه تحفر على الإيد جورة ويسبب أمراض وذباب وحشرات وروائح كرهة.
So would you have dug your own?
طبعاً بما أني لاجئ ومثل الناس اللي ساكنين بالمخيم إنه بإيدي وأنا تعبت وحفرت حفرتين.
When camp was first established, the authorities built toilet and wash blocks that were shared by up to 200 refugees.
Why are all the people living here digging their own? Because communal toilets were provided.
في حمامات عامة يعني ما بتحلش مشكلة حمامات عامة بجوز إنه حدا بيعتاز بده يروح الحمام بالليل وما فيش كان أضوية والمرأة كمان بدها تغسل بالبيت.
So the new system is gratefully received. It's needed, desperately needed. So this is someone's house, and this is the cesspit that they dug themselves.
هي بتكون مغطية بشيء بسيط مثل الشادر.
Just that.
بس مع الزمن إنه بروح الشادر وبظل الحفرة مفتوحة.
Oh, wow. Oh, gosh. That one's open. You can see it's very dangerous.
والسنة الماضية بنتي صغيرة كانت طالعة عم تلعب، اجت وقعت بالحفرة ومرضت وظليتني شهر أروح وآجي فيها على المشافي. لا الحمد لله إنه بنتي بعد شهر تعافت ومشي حالها، بس المشكلة مش إنه بس مشكلة بنتي، إنه كل أطفال المخيم.
And look, there's no lights here. No street lights. So if you're walking along at night, you could easily fall into one of these pits. No wonder you're having so many accidents. You can see that this is a public health disaster because just sewage and wastewater just sitting here stagnant, and this is terrible. Shall we go and have a look at what you're fitting?
Yes.
Are all these workers Syrian?
Unskilled سوريين.
From Zaatari.
هم موجودين بالمخيم وبيشتغلوا معنا.
Lead the way, lead the way.
بس أحكي لك شوي.
Yeah, can we go in? Can we get closer? Thank you.
تسكر طريق ونحدده عن طريق جهاز GPS مساح بيجي بيحدد لنا اياه ونحط مشان اعماق الحفر.
We've got the tools. This is happening. There's a proper system going in.
بس خلينا بعد شوي مشان ينزل.
Okay. Oh my God! The electricity pylons. Get the wires out of the way. Number 500. And it goes.
Over 2,500 of these 14-ton tanks will be buried below ground.
Watch out, everybody. Back off if you don't want to get wet.
And I'm helping make sure number 500 settles nicely into place.
Am I doing a good job, Paddy? Is that good? Is it done? Kalas? Thank you, Fadi. Good luck.
Yeah,
good luck with the rest of it. Lovely to meet you. Good luck with the rest of the project.
By the time this 7-month-long underground sewage system is completed, thousands of new septic tanks will be connected up to every single home in camp, using 150 kilometres of waste pipe, bringing Zaatari's infrastructure in line with any other established city.
How long have you been in Zaatari for?
About 3 years.
Ben is with 25-year-old Mufleh, who was an English literature student back in Syria.
And who are your favourite writers then?
Shakespeare and Christopher Marlowe.
Yeah, good choice, man.
It's very difficult for refugees to get permits to work outside the camp. But like many of the residents, Mufleh can earn a nominal wage from one of the charities here in Zaatari.
We will turn to the street where Miriam lives.
We go here.
His job in camp is to assess those who need help in building their own private toilet facilities. First on Mufleh's list today is 60-year-old Mariam.
لحالك هون أولادك أهلك وين هون؟ ما عندي حدا بنوف، لي هاي السنة الرابعة والله. هاي كل الجيل يسألني كل الجيل.
ونفس المكان ما تغيرتي؟
نفس المكان.
كرفانتك جوا شلون الوضع فيها؟ شلون الأمور؟
شوفوا
إذا في مجال.
It's a styrofoam bed and a single gas canister for all her heating, her cooking. She's hardcore. And Mufleh's just taking a few notes and trying to assess her case.
حجة ما عندك هون هاي ما عندك هون الحمام بس الكرفانة؟
ما لا والله ما عندي حالة ما عندي والله حالة.
نعم.
هاي حطوا لي هنا.
It's a hole in the ground.
Yeah, just the pipe. It is difficult for her to use this because she see rats here in this place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no lighting here at night. It's dark. It's not safe. There's no privacy and there's no dignity either. There is zero dignity in the situation. And yet she has this incredible smile the whole time.
هي تطلع على أبرية بعد أمرية حبيب قلبي قاسم وعلي والله قاسم وعلي وعلي.
She said we are like your sons. Like
قاسم وعلي. قاسم وعلي.
قاسم and Ali.
يا حبيب قلبي يا بعد أمرية.
Because she missed them a lot.
Of course.
More than 3 years without seeing her sons or her daughters. تحكي معهم صح لأولادك؟
إيه الحمد لله بحكي والله يا خالد.
Are they safe?
كلهم بسوريا ولا؟
لا واحد راحوا على تركيا يا هربوا على تركيا.
Some of them in Turkey.
Okay, good.
Yeah. This is proof of registration card of Mariam.
Mufla must now go through the charity's official checklist to determine if Mariam will be fast-tracked for bathroom facilities.
قديش عمرك حجة؟
60 يا خالها. ما شفتي الهوية؟
هي موجودة عندي العمر.
And by being a 60-year-old female, Mariam will then jump the queue.
Yeah, because she lives alone without any sons, without any help.
Any support whatsoever.
Yeah, any support. Yeah. الحمام اللي بتستخدميه بتفضل يكون عربي ولا أجنبي؟ يعني يكون فرنجي ولا عربي؟ يعني بتقدر تستخدمي البطة العربية فرنجي.
فرنجي يعني
بدك كرسي يكون فرنجي للحمام.
نعم. والله صعب والله ما
صعب عليك مشان رجليكي.
ايه والله يعني صعب.
انت ما عندك حالة عجز الحمد لله
لا
يعني
لا
ما في
لا الحمد لله. الحمد لله يا رب. الحمد لله رب العالمين اشكر الله يا رب الحمد لله.
Now she meets the criteria, hopefully Mariam won't have to wait much longer for her loo facilities.
ممتاز اوكي هذه المجله مجلتكم عشان هيك مبسوطين تعبكم اوكي شو عندك خالديه
كويس انه كتبوا عن الكشف المبكر لسرطان الثدي كتبوا انه شلون هي ممكن تقي حالها انها تنصاب هذا المرض.
It's a very important day for Chaldea. The first ever issue of the camp's women's only magazine has been published and it's coming out today. Big day. And Hada, the Jordanian professional newspaper editor who runs the magazine project, has chosen Chaldea's photo for the front cover of the launch publication.
صبايا بدي تعرفوا انه اللي صورت الغلاف هي خالديه شكرا كثير لها وبدنا نزقف لها لانه الصوره.
And she's made another important decision about the future of the magazine.
هلا خالديه بدها تحكي معاكم عن موضوع العدد القادم.
Chaldea has been promoted to deputy editor, and her first task as Hada's right-hand woman is to give her team some critical feedback.
هي صح ما معها جوزها بس هي شو عم تعمل إن هي قوية قد حالها. هاي فكرة حلوة اللي انت بتقوليها بس نحن كتبنا منها فقرة بتقدري انت تزيدي لها إذا بدك. يعني إذا انت عندك أفكار نحن بدنا أفكاركم كلكم أفكاركم بتهم.
Khaldia was the only one I can think to be in charge with the magazine. She knows now how to talk with the team, she knows how to do interviews, how to take pictures, and she has the charisma to go and present herself among other women, and she's doing well.
Chaldea, look at this. Yasmin, World Refugees magazine, first edition. You're the deputy editor. How proud do you feel holding that in your hand?
فشعوري بالفعل مش عارفة شلون أوصف شعوري كثير مبسوطة أكثر شيء مبسوطة إنه البنات عم يقبلوا حتى إنهم ينضموا لفريق المرأة. النساء الموجودات في المخيم بيحسوا إنه هم بس انخلقوا حتى يتعبوا ويشقوا ويشتغلوا ما لهم أي قيمة فلما يشوفوا مجلة صدرت بس بخصوصي إلهم أكيد رح ينبسطوا أكيد يعني شوي حتحسن من نفسيتهم أنا هذا هيك بعتقد.
It seems to me that this is quite a radical thing to happen in this camp and it's a very conservative community. Are you worried about the backlash that some people might think that this is a negative thing to happen?
نحن موجودات هنا يعني فريق مجلة المرأة موجودات مشان نغير في المخيم للأفضل. يعني صح رح نواجه صعوبات بس نحن مش إذا واجهتنا صعوبة إنه خلص نستسلم لا نحن موجودات حتى نغير للأفضل.
I think this is brilliant. It's your time now, Chaldea. Meeting Chaldea has been an inspiration, but what makes her unique is the fact that she doesn't have other role models. It's not like there are lots of Chaldeas around her. She is one who stood up and put her head above the parapet and thought, you know what, I don't like what I'm seeing and I'm going to make a difference and I'm going to change it. And she is only 18 years and 3 months old.
فرصة سعيدة تعرفت عليك.
Go and change the world. Good luck.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye bye.
شوف يمه وين بيلاقوا مكان مناسب عادي.
It's 6 days since Ben first met 60-year-old Mariam, and he's back.
هي الحمام وصل.
إيه الله يرضى عليك الله يرضى عليك الله يحقق في بالك والله ييسر أمرك بجاه نبينا محمد كلياتكم الله ييسر أمورك يا رب.
Mufla's 10-person team of Syrian workers is installing her new bathroom today.
How long does it take to put one of these in? They're moving so quickly.
1 hour.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, they are fast team.
They're incredibly quick. Everyone has got like their own job that they're doing at the same time. It's a kind of a health and safety nightmare, but it seems to work.
And in a matter of hours, this crack team have managed to plumb in a fully working toilet cubicle, complete with tiled floor.
What do you think? It's pretty good, yeah?
والله يبارك فيك يا حبيبي الله يبارك فيكم كلكم الله يبارك فيكم كلكم الله يبارك فيكم كلكم.
It's clear that it's much more than just a loo. It's not merely a matter of sanitation or health. It's all those things. But actually, to Miriam, it's about self-respect and it's about dignity. And also, as you can tell from her reaction, it's the fact that someone actually gives a damn.
اي والله الحمد لله والله في شوفكم مبسوطة والله العظيم والله في شوفكم مبسوطة عن جد يعني مش مزح.
Take care. Thank you so much.
Bye حجة.
I can see why you love your job so much.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
The camp's wrestling tournament is 9 days away. But Bassam, young Mohammed's best friend, won't be able to take part.
أشتاق لأصحابه المصارعة محمد وبدر وعمر وحسن وخالد والأستاذ محمد راح أشتاق له كثير.
Bassam's father Khalid has decided to make the risky journey back to Syria, taking Bassam and the rest of the family with him. Like most people in Zaatari, he still has close relatives living back in Syria from whom he's been long separated.
عندي الوالدة مرضانة وصار لي هاي السنة الرابعة هون يعني وحاب إني أشوف أهلي. في حزن أصدقائه يعني واحد أخذ عشرة معهم وتدرب معهم هنا وفي حزن شيء أكيد يعني حاسس إنه بعيونهم في حزن.
كنت بالبطولة الجاي كان أنا راح أفوز فيه وكنت أروح سوريا فيهم مشان أخبيهم غاد وأقول إنه ربحت بالمخيم.
Despite Syria still being in the midst of a brutal war, a few hundred people leave Zaatari each month to return to their homeland. For some, like Khalid, the pull of loved ones is too strong. The camp authorities can't prevent them from leaving, but do warn that a return to Jordan is practically impossible. And by returning to Syria, they're waving goodbye to Zaatari for good. Best friend Mohammed has come to say his goodbyes.
تعال السيارة زي عن السيارة.
But going back to Syria isn't the only option for people here in Zaatari. 31-year-old Abdul Tariq and his family are one of the several hundred residents in Zaatari who have been chosen by the UNHCR to apply for resettlement in Canada. He's not guaranteed a place, but he's been doing his research just in case.
استقبال لاجئين يعني كان استقبال كثير ممتاز. هاي الصورة وكمان بحثت عن يعني أكل الحلال فلقيت هاي الصور عن الأكل إنه في لحم في دجاج في أكل حلال بحثت لقيت موجود بكندا وهاي صديقي بعث لي الصور بالطيارة.
When it comes to choosing families to go through the selection process, UNHCR take many factors into account, but one of the most important is medical need. Dr. Javid has come to meet Abu Tariq.
Abu Tariq.
Hello.
Assalamu alaikum. Kef?
Hello.
Javid. So you were called by the camp authorities. Why do you think you were chosen?
يعني لولا الإصابة ما بعتقد إنه يهيئوا ملفي للسفر. بداية بسوريا اجت قذيفة على المنزل وتم يعني قذيفة كسر فخذي اليمين والأيسر وجيت بعدها على سوريا من سوريا على الأردن مباشرة.
You're walking quite well now. Was it a really long recovery?
العلاج كان صعب بس في تحسن. وإن شاء الله إذا يعني سافرت على كندا لسه في علاج بعد.
Do you have any nerves about the process itself, Abu Tariq?
يعني أنا مستني التلفون كل لحظة يعني كل ما يرن التلفون بفكر مكتب الهجرة. توتر والله متوتر كثير يعني.
Abu Tariq has options but no control over those options. He doesn't really have a choice about what's going to happen to him and his family. And those options are not small things, they're enormous. You know, either he stays here or he ends up in a country where he's never been with his whole family, doesn't even speak the language.
طب الطيارة؟
I certainly don't envy his position. So big respect for him.
Like Abu Tariq, all refugees are at the mercy of the international community's response.
Canada?
In September 2015, many attitudes changed when images of drowned toddler Alan Kurdi washed up on a Mediterranean beach hit the headlines. The world was shocked into action, and many countries made pledges to open their doors to more refugees. But for the 5 million Syrians fleeing the war, only 180,000 places have been made available. And the application process is slow. So far, Germany leads the way with over 40,000 official resettlements. Canada is next with 26,000, whilst the UK has processed 1,000 of its 20,000 pledges. At a time when rehoming refugees is a political minefield, it's Syria's neighbours who are hosting the bulk of this displaced population, with 2/3 in Jordan alone. And today in Zaatari, the residents have come out in their droves to take part in a one-off march to express their thanks to the country's king for his hospitality.
So they're chanting, giving the king of Jordan blessings. They're obviously really passionate about their message.
They're hoping for about 20,000 people, which would be approximately a quarter of the population of the city. I mean, in the UK, ordinarily, if they're going to protest like this, it's usually a big crowd of people angry about something, protesting against something. Unlike this, which is a big march of thanks.
I'm feeling a bit emotional just being here. It's their only way of expressing anything. You know, there's people who are away from their homeland and they just want to tell the people who have taken them in, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. It's a very powerful feeling in the air. You know, having been here a while and gone into people's homes and talked to them and looked them in the eyes, they're just good, ordinary people whose country is a complete mess. And they have no say and no power in what's going on, and they just want to go home.
The day of the wrestling tournament has finally arrived, and it's a full house.
Wow, this is brilliant. I'm really looking forward to this.
تمام الكل متحمس اليوم للبطولة، وكل بيكون يعني هذا بدها تكون هسه حصاد 4 شهور تدريبية، فبتكون من خلال البطولة اللي بنعمل لهم إياها. تحقيق حلمه كبطل، فاليوم راح يشوف حاله بطل عندنا من خلال المباريات اللي راح نشوفها.
Excellent. Despite his fighting partner and best friend Bassam having returned to Syria, Mohammed is as determined as ever to do well.
إن شاء الله راح أفوز وأطلع إن شاء الله مركز أول، وراح أشد كل حيلي مشان أخذ الكأس.
سلم فرجنا ظافرك.
Even the small ones are just these little packets of energy. It's so loud in here. It's like being in the middle of Wembley Stadium. He's so fast, this kid. I don't understand how they're not snapping each other's necks. It can be quite brutal. Mohammed is stepping into the ring right now. And he's really getting stuck in there. Come on! Come on! Jeez. This is vicious.
There are 3 medals up for grabs in each of the age categories, as well as 2 overall trophies for the entire tournament, Best Wrestler and Most Committed Player.
If you look around right now, you see that every single kid in this tent is hanging on Coach Mohammed's every single word. They worship the guy, absolutely worship him. And you can see his sense of just pride with all these little kids who, you know, whose lives he's changed. And it's an amazing bond of trust there that he's got with these guys. It's incredible. Here he goes. Yay! He's just absolutely beaming at the moment. Brilliant. That was brilliant. Well done, my friend. Can I have a look? That is fantastic. The medal here, and then the ear-to-ear smile right there. Yep. He can't stop laughing. Well done, dude.
And now it's time for the 2 big prizes to be presented.
وكاس أفضل لاعب لعدي زياد ياسين. يلا حبيبي، ما عليه، انت بطل. ما عليه بطل، انت بطل.
But the next winner isn't here to collect his prize.
الكاس اللي راح يكون لأكثر لاعب ملتزم عندنا هو لبسام الإبراهيم، الله يذكره بالخير، صار بسوريا وهو بطل، طلع عندنا 3 بطولات قبل هاي المرة، والكل بتعرفوه لبسام، فبتمنى الكل يصفق لبسام بسوريا.
Mohammed may not have won one of the top prizes, but he's keen to tell best friend Bassam about his trophy win.
مرحبا بسام. بدي أقول لك إنه الأستاذ اليوم جاب كأسين، خلى كأس وميدالية مركز 3 إلك. يعني الكأس عندك؟ أي خليت لك إياه عندي، بس أروح بجيب لك إياه. سلام. يلا سلام.
Good news delivered. Mohammed's dad wants to hear how things are back home.
والله الحمد لله رب العالمين، مستورة ماشي حال. والله اليوم وانا عندنا الطيران هذول عبدوا منا. يلا بس ان شاء الله هديت الامور فيها بالمفاوضات، بنقولوا بل ان شاء الله من هلا اسبوع وقف اطلاق النار. ان شاء الله انا بتمنى هذا الواحد والله العظيم اذا بطل الجبل بطل يعني في شغله بجبل. وشكرا بالكم حالكم، خليكم بعيدين انتم عن المكان الخاص. والله دورنا يعني شو بدنا نسوي؟ بقول لو اجلت شي شهر شهرين بلكي نشوف المفاوضات، بلكي الله صار وقف اطلاق نار او كذا. والله تعبان، عايشين على اعصابهم والله هناك. اي والله هناك عايش برعب.
انا بالنسبه لي ماني مروح اذا ما هديت الامور. اذا ما هديت الامور هناك ماني مروح، اقعد برعب هناك، اعيش برعب.
With the situation in Syria remaining unstable, the next generation is being born far away from their homeland.
فجهزت أول بأول، يعني مو كله إنه جبته دفعة واحدة، أول بأول.
Like many Syrian women, 31-year-old mum of 4, Mariam, is preparing to give birth in a refugee camp.
فكله مصفط يعني ومرتب.
But it's not the only thing that makes this pregnancy unusual.
تقريباً على الشهرين عرفت إنه في توأم. هو أول إشي انصدمت أنا يعني، وبعدين مثل اللي صابتني من الصدمة صرت أضحك يعني فرحانة نفس الوقت. بتعرفي يعني صعب إنه توأم، وفي يعني أنا معي عيلة من الأول شاطرة عشان كرة تساعديني نلبسهم ونحممهم. يعني يوم كنا بسوريا غسالة موجودة، مجلة، حنفية، خزان مي نظيفة، كل شيء نظيف حواليك. شاطرة. فأول ما اجينا حياة صعبة يعني، هون يعني مثل ما تقولي ملوث، شيء مش طبيعي يعني. يوم بتلاقيهم هيك منظرهم بيلعبوا، منظرهم بدش تكبيهم أحيانا. البنت ولا الولد وضع ما عادش إنه ينطاق بسوريا. بتشوفي قدامك سبحان الله دم، خوف أولادك لما بتعبطوك وبيقعدوا يبكوا أنت مش قادرة تعملي لهم إشي. يعني هذا أصعب شعور. هون على المقلية صرنا نحط روسنا وننام تالي الليل، ما فيش إنه في إشي هيك جاي يخوفهم.
Mariam's due date is just 2 weeks away. She's keen to have a natural birth so she can deliver in the camp's maternity unit and avoid being transferred to a hospital in another city miles away from her family.
طبعاً الحمد لله راس البيبي لتحت، هذا معناته مبدئياً إلى الآن ولادتك تكون طبيعية. إذا كان طبعاً البيبي الأولاني راسه لتحت إن شاء الله ما راح نواجه أي مشكلة فيها، بس المشكلة الثانية إنه ممكن البيبي الأولاني إنه delivered والأول الفيرست، أما الثاني ممكن نلاقي صعوبة بولادته، يعني ممكن إنه لا سمح الله يرجع إنه يسكر عنق الرحم، ياخد وقت أطول في وقت الولادة. فهذا الإشي رح يخلينا ننظر إن إحنا ممكن نحوله لولادة قيصرية، وبتراجعينا إن شاء الله بعد أسبوع زي ما أنا قلت لك.
ماشي دكتورة، يعطيك العافية.
الله معك.
أخذينا. يعطيك العافية. يعني طمنتني. كان قبل ما أفوت لعندها كنت متوترة شوية على وضعهم يعني، بس الحمد لله الأمور جيدة.
For Mariam, it's now just a matter of time before she can welcome her babies to their new home in Zaatari. And she's not the only one playing the waiting game.
ازيك أبو طارق؟ How are you today? أنت كويس؟ وأنت؟ يلا سلمني كيف أنت يا قرد أنت.
It's our last few days here, and Javid has come back to see how Abu Tariq is getting on with his plans for going to Canada.
You bought the suitcases?
Yes. خبرونا إنه هناك برد كثير، صرنا نشتري ملابس شتوية ونضب.
How long have you been so ready as this?
تقريباً من شي شهر ونص شهرين. كل يوم بيحكوا لي إنه إحنا بدنا نسافر ما بدنا نسافر. يعني سفرتي كلها مشان مهند وطارق ومالك وبلقيس، يعني مشان مستقبلهم، يعني كل سفر هم فكروا إنه أنا اللي معطل السفرة، بس لا ما يعني لساتهم صغار ما بيعرفوا.
So do you think that waiting is still hopeful?
اللي كانوا معي بنفس المقابلة سافروا يعني.
Gosh, so others in your group have gone already and you're still waiting. That must be really hard.
ما يعطونا نتيجة، لا إيه لا يعني ما في حل، ما بعرف. فقدت الأمل، طبعاً فقدت الأمل. يعني ما بعرف. تعبت. ما في أمل.
I guess Abu Tariq and his family are an example of many families here who are just in limbo, waiting to go home to Syria or waiting to know whether they can put roots down. He's living a suspended life because
he's packed up everything and he's just waiting. After all, others have felt that they're putting roots down here, although it's not home. And almost for him, a no would be just as good an answer as a yes, so he can get on with rebuilding his life wherever it may be.
A week and a half before her due date, and 31-year-old Mariam has gone into labour with twins at Zaatari's maternity hospital.
حسيت في مغص يعني كأي مرة فانجبرت يعني بدي آجي ما بقدرش بدي بطمنوني عن وضع البيبيات وبقولوا لي وضعي كويس كثير.
11 babies are born in Zaatari every single day, and the hospital is about to reach an important milestone.
احنا هون نشتغل 5 أطباء، يعني في اليوم نولد 10 و 14 ولادة. قريبا راح إن شاء الله إنه نصل رقم 5000. هاي راسه هون الأطفال ما يحبوا سهولة، مش المشكلة، بس أنت شد يلا انا هسه مستنى انت لما شد يلا شد يلا شدي كملي يلا كمان ابدع يلا شدي كملي يلا ممتازة يلا كمان نفس
2 كيلو 200 غرام.
ما شديش
هي ما شاء الله عليه منيح ونشيط اكتف فري اكتف.
يلا خلص.
الحمد لله عندك يا الله، يا رب تفرجها على جميع أمة محمد، يا رب تفرجها على جميع أمة محمد. الله يقويك يا دكتور.
الطفل الثاني طبعا
لا
الولد فيميل 2 كيلو 300 2 كيلو 300 غرام.
حظنا كويس كان انه اجوا 2 يعني جايين بالرؤوس، هذا يعني سهل عمليه الولاده عندها. الان ست مريم كمان اجاها طفل وطفله وراح ينزاد على العدد النهائي، راح نحتفل بالرقم 5000 المولود في مخيم الزعتري.
Mariam, what's your dream for your children?
يعني حياة غير حياة المخيم، نكون راجعين على بلدنا، يكون مستقبل زاهر لهم إن شاء الله.
This place is remarkable and unique, and I'm left with a very bittersweet feeling about it. On the one hand, I'm amazed by the huge infrastructure projects, the water, the sewage, the food distribution, and of course people, whilst they're here, should be able to live with dignity. But it also spells out permanence. The one thing they all want is to go home. They want to be able to bring up their children freely in Syria with a future, and here that future is uncertain. But also, they've blown me away. Their resilience, their spirits, their humanity, all of that has made this place thrive. And because of the people and because of their situation, it is what it is. And Zaatari has become their home.